GLAM, Los Angeles.
Hi, Kirby. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to Los Angeles.
Kirby, do the words and numbers 445, CC, moderate profile, half under the muscle, silicone, Garth Fisher mean anything to you?
Yes. Now they do. Now they do.
Now they do. The comment heard around the world.
So Kylie Jenner revealed her boob job details to the public.
Crazy.
Gotta say, I think Kylie is going to be the one to revolutionize the Jenner Kardashian family.
Yeah.
She was the one on the show that was like, I see my daughter and I think of like the beauty standards that we're setting.
Yeah.
And she says that she regretted getting her first boob job before kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she also has talked about limiting her filler usage because she started it so young.
Mm-hmm.
I understand at the time that she was, I think, 16 or 17. So they did not want to promote the fact that she was getting lip filler.
Yeah.
And I would argue she definitely didn't need to be getting it.
Right.
But then she eventually admitted to it. And I truly feel that Kylie has been the only really transparent one out of all of the sisters regarding any work
Yeah.
they have had done. Kim has mentioned she's gotten Botox before.
Right.
But nothing
For the
about her
most part,
body.
everyone is sort of just like kept mum about it.
Yes.
And I'm like loving this. I'm loving this era of transparency for Kylie. I know people are extremely critical of it and they're like, oh, like now she's coming out, you know, and sharing like what she's gotten done. But like we have to think about the fact that she was 16 when this was all happening and like everyone else, they were adults during this time. She wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
And who's to say that like they might have told her to like not say anything, right? Maybe she wanted to and she just like didn't feel like she was in a place where she could be honest. And like she also was really shy back then. Like even though she was like making all of her social content, but like she never did interviews. Never did press, like, you know, we never got to interview her for anything. And so like now I feel like it's like this revolution of Kylie. Like she's with her man. She's so happy and in love. And she's like, I don't have anything to lose. I have a successful brand. I've got my kids. 445 CC. Have fun.
None of it makes any sense to me because I have never inquired about getting a breast augmentation.
I know. I was like, is it 445? 445? 445? What's the proper pronunciation of the number?
But now we're seeing more people also talk about what they have had done.
Yeah.
And there's like this whole domino effect. And I know people are super critical, like you said, of her. But it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
If she would have admitted her lip filler at the age that she was at, I think that it was probably more of a legal issue with the injector.
Totally.
Because I don't think the injector should have been injecting her,
Yeah.
but money has power.
It's
Money
powerful
speaks.
tool.
I also think that she was so criticized about everything that she wasn't going to just put things out there for people to consume and talk about her even more.
Yeah.
She's, like you said, a grown adult now with children. She doesn't have to really answer to anybody.
Right.
She's not at risk of losing everything or like losing her livelihood or losing her generational wealth because of her admitting that she got plastic surgery. I also think that when you say something like this, there is a wave of other people that hear that and then say, I want to get this done because she does have a lot of influence.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Dr. Garth Fisher has had an influx of not only requests for consultations, but also his search has gone up like over 1,000%.
I was like, damn, we should have had him on.
And he actually, I don't know if he makes his brand anymore, but he had an incredible sunscreen that I was obsessed with.
Oh.
And this was many years ago. And I heard about him through Kris Jenner. He did her first facelift.
Okay.
Which she, I think, like talked about on the show at one point. But I knew him as like having worked with Kris in the past. And he's not like a super high profile. He's a high profile to
the rich and famous.
Yes.
But he's not like promoting himself.
He's not doing a ton
media.
of, he's not a TikTok plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, same with Stephen Levine. Like Stephen Levine, Dr. Levine, who did Chris's facelift recently, he's a very well-known and respected plastic surgeon in New York, and people speculated that he worked on Lindsay Lohan and people like Brad Pitt, all allegedly. But then Chris is the one that actually confirmed that he did work on her.
Yeah.
And so it's like those, I'm always fascinated. I remember talking to Linda Wells once about how she had, I don't know if it was a binder or what, but like there were just lists of people that these elite celebrities, rich people go see. And it's none of the people that are like openly talked about.
100%.
So it's interesting now that people like Kylie and Chris are really coming forward and saying like, this is who did it. I'm like, are they getting some kind of kickback from it? You know, I don't know.
I would imagine not. And I also wonder, like, as like someone like Garth Fisher, like, how does he feel about this? Like this influx? Like he's probably already so busy as it is. And now like he's getting all of these inquiries. But also I saw that he had to release a statement saying like, please don't just like go in and like specifically ask for Kylie's exact formulation, because that's not going to look like, that would look crazy on me. That would look insane on me.
It was custom to her.
Yes, it was custom to her.
A good plastic surgeon does.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I saw Alex Earle talk about hers too, and she was like, you just need to consult your plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
But this is like, I got silicone breast implants or whatever.
Right.
So I like it. I think also, to your point, Kylie doesn't do interviews. And a couple of years ago, I went on a trip with Allergan, and Dr. Anne Guanche was there, and she works on a lot of different people. And I asked her, why don't celebrities come forward with the work that they have had done? And she put things in a different perspective for me. She was like, because once they reveal, it's all they'll ever be asked about. And I think that rings true for people like Jane Fonda.
Totally.
Like she's doing incredible work in politics, in advocacy, and she still gets asked about her facelift.
From
one
so
of her
long
two
ago.
facelifts from like, you know, I think her last one was probably over 2 decades ago at this point. And she has talked about how she kind of regrets doing it as well. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then when we talked to Dr. Diamond, he was like, well, a lot of celebrities don't reveal because they have these cosmetics contracts, which, yes, that's true. But I think it's more so the fact that like they won't be able to do anything without this random thing being brought up in every interview because they know it's what will get clicks. I mean, Kylie literally made a comment on a TikTok and it was like the headline of every beauty website that I had.
For like a week.
Yes. Yeah. And still going.
Totally. Yeah.
So because Kylie doesn't have to do interviews, when she walks the red carpet, she walks and she walks off.
Yeah.
She has the power that she doesn't have to get press because a comment on TikTok is enough.
Yeah.
I think she's probably thinking like, I have nothing to lose at this point.
Right. She really doesn't. And it is, I also think that she, instead of doing the press, like she likes to control obviously the narrative herself. So she's, you know, very much on social media. Like, I don't know if you saw recently on TikTok too, she posted like how she gets her hair. Like, she's like, there's no gatekeeping like for her anymore. She's like, I'm going to share as much as I want to share as long as she is controlling how that information is being shared, which I'm like, yeah, go for it.
She posted that video and all the comments were like, everybody be cool. She's giving us the tips. Yeah. Like she's talking to us like, don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny because she really is. A lot of people like to drag her in terms of her brand, being like, does anybody use this brand? There is a reason why her brand is still in Ulta's.
Yeah.
There's a reason why she's still extremely relevant. She really created a model for all of these other celebrity brands.
I have to imagine that Hailey was like completely inspired by Kylie. I mean, we talk about this, created like the drop method, right? The model. There's so much of what Kylie Cosmetics did in Rhode, right? Like I think like obviously it's different and like so many years have passed and Hailey is like her own, you know, she's creative in her own way, but I feel like I can't help but think about Kylie cosmetics when I think of Rhode. But yeah,
especially for a D2C business,
right?
It's very different from Fenty that was created by Kendo and it's an LVMH property and like immediately launched into Sephora. Same with Rare, right? Like, launched into Sephora, not owned by Kendo.
Exactly. Like it was like minimal SKUs at first, like a very specific like POV. It was more than just product. It was a lifestyle, that sort of like narrative, like totally the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm here for it. I think it's fun.
Listen, Kim said that people text her about what they need to get done. And to this day, I'm like, that's a service I would pay for. Like, sit in front of me and be like, okay, I want a little Botox here and I want you to like do this or like get this. Like, I would love to hear her thoughts just because that aesthetics is something that's interesting to me. Obviously, if you're not interested in it, don't ask her.
Yeah.
But for me, I would be really curious to hear like what she's had done.
Totally.
And
I feel like we haven't talked about like Jenner Kardashians in a really long time.
I don't. We're gonna say this, and someone's gonna be like, "Don't talk about them too much."
I know, but it's really been a long time.
Okay, what's the hot goss?
Okay,
give me the tea.
This is inspired by a recent Ride the Pod episode where Mary Beth Barone rode for stating the obvious.
Okay, great.
Which I was like, yes, I agree, state the obvious. But this is stating the obvious, although there were some enlightening parts from this new study that was released. So I'm referencing a Guardian article that wrote about this study that was conducted by Northwestern University. Researchers created TikTok accounts posing as 13-year-olds and analyzed 100 skincare routine videos by users aged 7 through 18. These routines used, on average, 6 different products costing about $168 a month, with some exceeding $500.
What?
Which is actually so wild. And here were the main findings, stating the obvious. There is minimal health benefit. The routines offered little to no measurable benefits for typical teenage skin. They also analyzed the skin of a lot of these TikTok creators who were, using all of these 5, 10 step routines, and they didn't have any blemishes. They had perfect skin.
Right.
So there was minimal benefit because they didn't have anything to correct to begin with.
They didn't have oil glands.
They found that a lot of them either actually experienced irritation or there was, potential for irritation from the cocktailing and layering of multiple active ingredients. And also what I found most troubling was that only a quarter of them used sunscreen, which if you read the article, they're like, and Kirby and I say this too, if anyone ever asks us what their teenager needs to be using, we're like, they just need to clean their face, maybe a light moisturizer, but number one, sunscreen, right? None of them were using sunscreen.
So they're doing alpha hydroxy acids and vitamin C's and then no sunscreen.
No sunscreen.
Cool.
It's not sexy, apparently. And yeah, a lot of them had perfect skin to begin with. And so it really also, I think, perpetuates this idea that you have to have perfect skin to be beautiful. And so for those young people that are following these younger creators, obviously they're tying, that to the ideal beauty standard, which I thought was so interesting when we were talking about which generation has it harder, millennials or Gen Z. And someone left this comment that was I think that millennials grew up wanting to be skinny. And I think that Gen Z is growing up wanting to have the perfect face. And I was just like, oh my God, that's exactly it. That is the thesis. It's so crazy because I was thinking about it too when I was growing up. I didn't really care what my face looked. My makeup was so bad. All I wanted was to be skinny. So it's just so crazy that this is now all they wanted to have is perfect skin. So yeah,
when they already do.
When they already do. They already do. And if you don't, then you are just beating yourself up because you're experiencing acne, which a lot of teenagers do, and it's totally normal.
I think that the difference between us growing up and this generation is that I didn't start using skincare until I started breaking out.
Yeah, because you didn't need to.
I remember reading Allure magazine and hearing that I needed sunscreen. And so I think my mom bought me a Clean and Clear moisturizer with SPF 30 in it because that's what they said to use. And I used that, but it wasn't something I actively thought about. Then once I started breaking out, I was like, okay, I need a 3-step regimen and then my sunscreen.
Yeah.
It was but it was 3 steps.
Yep.
and it was all from the same brand.
Yeah.
Proactive. Or maybe Clean and Clear, Clearasil,
Yep.
Biore,
Cetaphil, yep.
Neutrogena, pore correcting toner, and wash.
Chokehold.
Wow. Maybe I need to go pick those up. But I think now, when people talk about being concerned about this generation and their skincare use, I used to be like, well, I was really interested in beauty when I was young.
Yeah.
And it didn't affect me in a negative way. It's just kind of like letting your kid play with makeup or like lipstick or whatever.
Experiment, like find their identity, self-express, all those things.
Right. But also, I mean, we were also damaging our skin too because we were stripping it.
God.
The astringents.
Squeaky clean.
Yeah,
That's all
the
I
benzoyl
wanted.
peroxide, the salicylic
God,
acid, like the too much of those things.
Yeah.
Like it was essentially drying our skin out to help get rid of our acne.
Right.
So I think that there's just different. It's different, but also similar in a way. But the emphasis on like the perfect skin, like we didn't want breakouts, but we were way more focused on being like Britney Spears, like belly out, skinny.
Exactly. Yeah. I was thinking about how like if you were to line up like all of the pop stars of that era, like their bellies, like their abs, like I could like easily identify.
Oh,
so it's like Jessica Alba. I had like Jessica Alba.
Next episode,
yeah,
I will be quizzing you. I have a great quiz for next episode as well. So it'll just be the quiz episode.
Okay, great.
Love that.
So the bottom line basically is that the teens on TikTok don't need to be using as many products as they are. And all they really need is to cleanse, moisturize, and use sunscreen. So if you are a parent and you have a teen that is like asking you for 10-step routine. They want this mask.
It's got to be like makeup.
They feel like they need to use vitamin C. Just kindly
tell them when you turn
a
certain age, you can start using skincare.
Yeah.
The end.
Or, bring them to a derm and have the derm, the expert, tell them. But
buy them the new road mist. That's pretty harmless.
Yeah.
It'll make them look dewy and they'll be happy.
Yep. Exactly. That's
Call it a day. They'll be thrilled.
So yeah.
I was reading Lauren Sherman's Line Sheet newsletter.
Okay.
And the bigger story was about Drunk Elephant and what's going on there. Confirmed Tiffany Masterson is stepping away from her day-to-day duties per Rachel Strugatz. But Lauren was saying that she was talking to like a tween at something and she was asking about Drunk Elephant and they were like, no, that's for like babies. That's for like kindergartners.
What?
I'm like, wow. So Drunk Elephant's really screwed because they have this millennial price point and now the tweens are out because I think it's for babies. I'm like, these kids are off the rocker. Like, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm like, this is not for babies.
Maybe Drunk Elephant needs to reformat and just make baby care.
Literally.
Because apparently that's what
make a second line for babies.
Love that. That's crazy.
I know. I was like, what a world we live in when a $70 moisturizer is for babies.
Oh my gosh. I started using, because they sent us like a restock and I started using the Bora Bora cream. Love. And then they have like a couple new products that are great, but they're going to figure it out.
I do love Bora Bora.
Love Bora Bora. So good.
It's a good one. So voicemails. Voicemails they relaunched a hit fave that people love, that people were complaining that their favorites were not coming back. But I think they did this very deliberately. So Sit Rush is their poppers-inspired scent. And I'm going to be real with you. I don't fully understand what poppers are. I am a basic white woman, straight, mind you. But I have heard of poppers. And I know that the gay community indulges. If anyone wants to chime in, please do. I didn't look this up before.
Please chime in.
It is Pride Month. So they brought back Sit Rush during Pride Month. And this is the caption on TikTok. First of all, they're doing Sit Rush branded poppers in the video, which is hilarious. And it says, holy shit. But holy is spelled whole. HOLE-Y. They really are trying to drive the point home here, okay? Our viral poppers-inspired scent has returned, and we're giving you a head start to be the first to sniff it again and again. And then someone goes, smells like pride. That's correct. So it's back. I think that the whole drama around the rebrand was so overblown.
I mean, if you haven't listened to that episode, Please do.
I'm like, let them cook. Like, let them have a moment to get their shit together. Obviously, this is like a very deliberate launch during Pride Month.
Yeah.
Because people were like, well, what about Les? What about Sit Rush? And I'm like, I think Les is still coming back. When? I don't know. But Sit Rush is now here. And I really want Matthew on the podcast again.
Yeah.
We talked to him virtually a couple years ago, but I would love to just pick his brain about like the evolution of the brand and like how they're doing
where they're
now.
Going forward. Yeah.
Because I go and I see Boy Smells in Sephora and I'm like,
how's it doing?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it looks so good.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Like I just don't think it would have.
It looks good.
It wouldn't have popped, if you will.
If they had kept the original packaging. Yes, this is fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel
really
like they're
into it.
having fun.
I agree. That's how I felt like Boy Smells
OG. 1.0.
1.0 OG was very serious.
Yeah.
Like we are a serious fragrance house, which is great.
Yeah. But now everyone knows who they are. So they're like,
let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Let's have some personality. Let's like do the damn thing, which I am a big fan of.
I really want to smell this. I've never smelled it before.
I haven't either.
I feel like I would like it.
I don't know for the demo, but I think we would both like it
citrus?
too. You do. You do.
Okay.
All right. Last but not least, we've got some major Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders news. And Charlotte Tilbury is now the official beauty brand partner of the DCC. Is there a better fit?
No.
I think not. This was the smartest thing Charlotte Tilbury could have done.
Yeah.
I truly think like when I think of glam, I think of DCC.
Totally.
And I think of Char. It's perfect. I was very upset that Reese was not in any of the promo materials.
I wonder why. Do you think she's too expensive?
No, they wrote me and they told me that they were thrilled to see this in my newsletter and that Reese was on tour.
Oh.
And they were like, but get ready. So I'm sure there's going to be more Reese and Charlotte Tilbury happening.
Okay.
The new season is coming out soon, which I cannot wait.
I can't wait.
And they were saying that not only are they going to be activating with like social content and things like that, but like in-person experiences. So I'm like, Charlotte Tilbury, if y'all are taking anybody to a DCC like experience at the Star in Frisco,
oh my God,
Sarah and I are ready.
Please. All I could think about when I was watching the first season was I was just like I was zooming in on their makeup kits and like how they did their hair. Like I know Dyson also has stepped in now. Right?
Oh, have they?
I think they sent like
Good
all
for
of
them
like air wraps and like
Good for them.
supersonics.
Oh my God, that's
because
amazing.
because I was like, what are they using? Because they have to buy. So many of them had to buy all of their own makeup, all of their own hair tools, but now they are taken care of.
I think they probably get paid for the Netflix show, right? Like they probably
I hope so.
Because
if not for the first season, then I hope they renegotiated for the second.
Because Charlotte Jones was a part of the press release for this. You know, she's Jerry Jones' daughter, and she oversees the DCC.
Yes.
Big part of the first season.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking, like, is this lining her pocket, this partnership with Charlotte Tilbury, or are the girls actually going to be benefiting in some way from the money coming in from this partnership?
Like, right, because that was like a big point of criticism, correct? Is that they were being paid like pennies.
Right. And here's the thing, like, this is not their full-time job. So I'm not expecting them to get like a full-time salary for the entire year. It's just for football season. But based off of the time they commit and what they're paid, it is abhorrent. It's gross.
Totally.
So I hope that they got paid for the Netflix series. And I hope that if any partnerships come through with the Charlotte Tilbury brand package, that they are actually receiving that money and it's not just going into the big pot that supports the DCC overall.
Totally. Yeah.
Because I think, and much respect to Charlotte Jones, you're rich enough.
Yep.
So let's get these girls have a lifetime of physical therapy that they have to pay for.
I mean, hip replacements maybe too.
So they deserve to be making some cold, hard cash, in my humble opinion.
I feel bad for like the girls who like graduated.
Yeah, I know,
or
Kelsey.
Left. Yeah.
I'm like, damn,
like,
Kelsey.
I hope that she can come back and join in like another way, like a coach or something.
She was such a fan favorite. I can't imagine her not being in the second season or like doing something fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was very excited. I'm curious if they'll do I mean, I'm not a really big fan of licensing in terms of like
a collab or something.
Yeah, I always
that
think they're
doesn't
just
really
so
make sense.
cheesy and weird. And I'm just like, who is really buying this stuff? Unless it's Disney. I think Disney like will sell out whatever.
Yeah, of course.
But if they made like an eyeliner that was the Cowboys colors with like the stars, I
that
think
would be really cute.
it would be really cute.
Yeah. I wonder how many brands were pitching and like trying to get this partnership with them. I feel like there were probably a lot.
Do you? Because
I feel like
maybe Elf.
I can't imagine Elf not trying to, pitch them a partnership. It just like sort of makes sense to me. Charlotte Tilbury, though, like it really does feel like a great partner.
I agree. Yeah. Charlotte has been doing a lot with sports too.
Yeah.
Like, she Formula One. So I think that when I think of Elf and I think of Charlotte, even though I do not see them as competitors at all, I think that they have a very similar strategy in terms of like wanting to be the first to do things.
Yeah.
So in my humble opinion, by the way, I just got to say it again. Magic Cream is one of the best moisturizers on the planet.
Yeah.
I'm fucking obsessed with it.
Also, someone asked me recently what my favorite under eye patches were, and the Charlotte Tilbury ones are my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I really like them.
I haven't even tried those.
I love them. And I know that like maybe they're not like super different from the other ones, but to me, they work. And it has like, it's like supposed to wake up your under eye. I think it has like caffeine in it or whatever. But it feels so nice and cooling, and they're pretty, and they come in like, I think it's a lot it's expensive. But to me, it's worth it. Her skincare is great.
Yes.
We've talked about this.
I mean,
we don't usually like makeup brands that make skincare, but Charlotte Tilbury knows what she's doing.
Magic Cream Body, also very great. I'm just telling you, magic. Remember I was telling you I've been really into magic products lately? Magic. I really like the magic these days.
Darling.
Okay, darlings, glamgelinos, please tell us, do you have any children of tween age demographic that think Drunk Elephant is now for kindergartners? Yeah. And what are they using? And have you told them no? You don't need a 5-step skincare routine. And are you making them wear sunscreen? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts.
Watch our podcast.
Spotify.
Listen
you can
to
comment
our
on Spotify.
Yes.
Which I got an email today that we had so many comments on Spotify that I was like shook. I was like, oh, we need to re-respond. Yeah, that we need to be responding to these.
Thank you.
So
I'm scared of comments.
No. If comments are mean, that just means that you're living rent free in people's brains.
Okay.
So you got to just embrace it. If no one's saying anything, then you're irrelevant.
That's true. Okay.
So
all right.
We welcome harsh, terrible criticism. No, just kidding.
No, just DM us those.
Actually, please don't. Please don't. I really don't want to open up my DMs and hear something terrible about myself.
We're fragile.
Keep us posted on your thoughts. Also, what do you think about Kylie Jenner revealing her boob measurements? Is that what it's called?
Guys, would you watch if she came on?
Also, I have been wanting to ask the Glams this. If there was a celebrity that we could get on tomorrow,
who would it be?
Who is it? Just tell us. We've had a lot of people, but we want to know. Who would you want to hear from?
I know you want to hear from Rihanna. So do we.
Y'all.
Other than Rihanna.
Please don't suggest Rihanna. We love her.
Rihanna, Lady Gaga. Their names are on the list.
Literally, I will cry if Lady Gaga ever comes on this podcast. Y'all just need to be ready for it. Like, I will be like, if she walked in here.
Isn't that crazy though? Like
I would cry.
That must happen to her every day.
I would fully cry. I'm not kidding.
People walk it she just makes people cry.
I would have to be like, okay, she needs to arrive an hour before so I can have like a mental moment and then we'll get into it. Yeah. Because she means so much to me.
But tell us, who else do you want on the podcast?